Greetings, Nikki here. I wanted to talk a little bit about crafting in Astroloot. The crafting system is very important in this game, and you should definitely do it as soon as you can. So let's start with it. We got several dice here. Everything does something on its own, and it's very nice. I give you some tips how to save some dice while crafting later on, and so on. So the first thing, very important, you have items with different tiers. We have, for example, the Storm Mine, there's a slash and Eternal up here. And we see it, if you press Alt, we see a tier 1 here. Everything Eternal is a tier 1 item. Those can have the highest rolls, and the base damage is the highest. Like this one has 1 to 549 damage. A tier 8 one has way lower damage, and of course, the deeper you go into the game, the higher the tier should be to craft. Another thing about is the rolls you can have on those items can go up to P1 or S1, or the prefixes and suffixes, for the maximum roll as well. And that's something that's not possible on an item like this Enhanced Plasma Blaster. It's tier 8. You cannot have the highest rolls here. The base damage is very low. So if you start the game, you're level 1, you have the lowest tier, and as you progress, you get higher tiers. And if you progress into the game, you want to find higher tiers. They drop automatically the higher you go, and change your items accordingly. So the first thing you do early on, let's say up to level 30, around that area, you don't need to do much for crafting. Like you find something like this, you can make it white with a blank dice if you want, if the stats are not what you want. With this one, then you can use a plasma dice and see some rolls here. We have plasma damage, something like increased kinetic damage does nothing. So we can roll through here. For something we want early on, something like this is enough, like some added nuclear damage. It doesn't really matter the first 30 levels, which damage rolls you have. You don't want to use that much currency, that much dice, you don't have that many. And you craft something with a few useful mods, like something like that. I use 3 dice of each or something. And you got a very good weapon to blast through the first, I don't know, for the next 10 levels, something like that. You don't need much to make something useful early on. And then we got the slot dice here. We can see here, if we press Alt, I have 2 out of 3. If I equip this, I have 2 of those mod slots available. And if I use a slot dice, you can click through it, and I have 3 possibilities. This increases with the item level as well. Up to Elder, it's like 5, and then we got tier 2 and tier 1, those can have 6. And of course, the more slots you have, the more powerful your attacks can get. So that's the base. Let's craft one item together. We have something later on in the end game, like this one. This is a purple mod. Those cannot be changed or in any way or removed from the item. I wanted to see if an item with this purple one can be better than one that I already use, because my prefixes are very powerful, and it's a not optimal mod for this type, but I still wanted to see if it's better or not than one of those prefixes I use here. And we can do everything in crafting with this item here. To show you what I do, the first thing is I don't want the second mod here. I blank dice it, and this purple mod stays on here. That's very nice. And since we already have a prefix, if we make the item blue, we can only have 1 prefix and 1 suffix. So if we add this dice here, I can only roll a suffix or nothing, one of those. So then we have the Wheel of Fortune. You unlock this around level 50 or something in the campaign. You find it if you do your missions in the campaign, no problem. So I can click one suffix here I want. Like increase damage over time for this build. Increase damage over time is a good mod. Let's go for it. And I got tier 1 roll. It doesn't matter how high it is, you can change that over time. But I already got it with 44 dice. The Wheel of Fortune, basically, you can select one of the mods and you guarantee, if you roll here, to have this mod. So that's very nice. I crafted. Okay, we got a base item. Now I can use my solar dice here and look for a second mod I want. I usually early on this crafting, I use one of the very important or rarer mods. You get a feel of it, what is a little bit rarer and what not. Something like all mods here. Let's in this case, let's go for increased nuclear damage. I think that's a mod I definitely want. I'm not sure which third mod in the prefix is the best on this weapon, especially. We will see. So I got a second prefix I want with tier 1. Very nice. I crafted. Cool. So the next thing I do, we have the Jinx dice here. We can add another mod here. I don't want to do it yet. That's something we can do later. We don't need to do that, but we can. We got Lunar dice to improve the item mods here. I don't want to do that yet as well. I do that only at when my item is maxed out or I'm only missing one mod or something to see what's the best thing. Void dice, I can remove something on the item. That's very nice. I do that. I remove all the mods I don't want. You can see it here highlighted. I remove it. Nice. And I remove the time here because it's not a tier 1 roll. I want the perfect item here, so I go for it. Nice. And this one, I show it to you here as well. So let's go for the next item. So I got 3 tier 1 mods, but if I add something with this thing here, let's say I want increased crit chance. It costs a lot of dice. In this case, tier 4, tier 3, tier 1. It's 25. That's lucky. I can go for it. That's very lucky. But sometimes you need 400, 500 of those or more to get a tier 1. And those dice are relatively rare. I have like 1.8k here. It's the lowest of my dice. I don't want to waste too many of them. So let's go for another thing. Wheel of Fortune here. Let's go for crit chance. Usually, I got a tier 1 roll. Usually the plasma dice are the most common you can have. So I want to waste most of them in this stage. And I got my one mod I want. And it doesn't matter what I have, but I just want 2 other mods. You at least have 2 if you make it together 3. So I want like 3 or 4 mods and go for it. It doesn't matter what it is. And now I can void dice something to have this one excluded. In this case, this is highlighted. If this one is highlighted and would be removed, I cancel it and use an Astroloot dice because it's guaranteed that this mod can be removed here. So with this Astroloot dice, I can remove the mod from an item and destroy it and put the mod on another item. Now I got 4 tier 1 mods here. Very nice. The good thing is, if you have something like a weapon, all weapons can have the same rolls. I can just use another item. I don't need plutonium bars here. I can use a Stormine, for example, and do the same. Let's go for crit damage here. This time I want crit damage on this item. And we got it. 78 dice is here. Very nice. We do the same with the solar dice. We don't need to recruit anything. Oh, I got 3 mods. Very nice. Now we do the void dice again. And I remove damage over time. Nice. If I would use Astral dice, damage over time would highlight as well. It's always the same. So I remove this one. And now I got the crit damage. Very nice. Let's go for this one. Cool. I got tier 1 crit damage. Very cool. So now I got this item here. I only need 1 prefix, that's the remaining one, but I don't know which one will be the best. So let's go for the Lunar dice and max the item. So everything is a max roll now. That's very nice. And now I can check which mod would be better for me. I don't know. Let's go for DPS. And that doesn't do that much for me. Okay, in this case, increased the minion damage is already a little bit better for pure DPS, but we want something like all mods. That's the stronger one. Plus 2, I got 11.4% more damage compared to my other weapon. Very nice. But I'm not sure, is it really the best one? Or maybe minion mods would be better. Plus 2, plus 3, no, plus 3 minion mods would be worse. So with this thing, you can check basically what would be better or what not. You need a few dice in your stash for that, but I don't want to waste 500 of my 1.8k to get such a mod. Like that's crazy. I don't do that, except I don't have anything else and I definitely need an item. So in this case, I take another item here. Now I know which mod would be the best one for me. I again go for all mods. This one is the best second thing I can get. Again, 4 dice. I already got it. And do the same method. And pop. Remove this one. Sometimes you need to do that until you only have one mod left. That's not too bad. And get all the mods. Very nice. And I got a decent weapon. Let's add some slot dice to max out my slots. And I got a DPS upgrade for my weapon. Very nice. I lose my plus 3 minion levels, but 40% more nuclear damage grants me more DPS. I want that. Nice. Upgrade. I got myself an upgrade. I got another one. I'm doing that again. But that's how you basically craft. You can, if you are not experienced, have something like that. Let's say you want the plus 1 kinetic damage and you want to use Astral dice, which are pretty rare early on, and you want one specific mod. It can take a while until you get it out. I mean, if you have, like me, over 2k of those, you can do that method and get something out, but you might waste 51 of those using void dice each time to remove one mod and exclude the one single thing you want until it's highlighted with Astral dice. It saves you a lot of dice. You don't need to use that many of them. And the last dice we can have is the Infinity dice. This is exclusive for unique items. For example, this one. This one is an ancient item, a tier 2 item, and you can use this to upgrade the tier of a unique item from tier 2 to tier 1, for example. And this can also, on some items, reroll the item. Let's go for this one here, the Soulstone. It's a relatively rare one, and it's very nice to have infinity dice. You can roll the mod here, what you have. That's very nice. If you don't have many of those dice, like 50 or something, and you cannot have, you want one specific thing, but in 50 you cannot get it on this one, but you have another one, like this one. It has its own item seed, basically. Like if I have 2 dice here, I got Gluttony here. If I do 2 dice here, I have Mastermind here. Like each item has its own chance or separate chance to get some mods. So if you have several soul stones, you can try again on other soul stones to get your mod with fewer dice, for example, or the amount you have in your stash. So that can save you a little bit of currency. And there's some special items like the Twin Blaster here. You have the conversion part here, like plasma damage to nuclear. You can. That's not. You can usually. No, that's the wrong item. That's the wrong item. That's not the plasma blaster. That's the SRR. This one was a weapon. You can roll, for example, the kinetic to plasma, to kinetic to explosive or electric with the astral dice. So that's another thing. If you find one of those, but you want another one, you can re-roll it with the Astral dice as well. So there are some use cases for that if you want something specific. So that's very nice. And that's basically how you craft gear. That's the same for chips. You can do it the same. The thing is, over time, early on, you basically craft, let's say after level 30, you got a few more dice, but not that many. You got a plasma weapon. You probably want some plasma damage here. Like this one, you want plasma damage. You take a solar dice and do the same with increased plasma damage here. And got a decent roll, and that's probably already enough to carry you through the next 10 levels with your actual weapon. You need to use many dice early on to craft decent gear to carry you through the campaign. But once you reach like elder items, tier 3, that's like level 68, you really want to start to make your first big items, especially the weapons. And that's the case for all the other items. And basically, in the end game, you want those purple modifiers on most of your items, in most builds. That's not possible on anything, but yeah, very nice. And usually, at that point, you start collecting items of this tier and use like 4 or 5 items to craft one good one out of these. So I collect them, so I have many crafting bases for other items, like I showed you with this weapon. Okay, that's it about crafting. I want to keep it relatively short, talk about anything. It's very important because at some point you don't find any equipable items anymore. Crafting is bread and butter, and it's very easy and comfortable. Have a nice day. Bye bye.